Okay. Hello, everybody. Thanks for this very nice invitation. How much time I have? I guess 20 minutes, 15 minutes? Doesn't matter. 20 minutes? Okay, but just tell me when 5 minutes.
I will come there.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So, yeah, today I'm here not as a scientist of the Institute of Polar Science of the National Research Council, where I work, but I'm here as a member of the Alpine-Adriatic Meteorological Society, which is pretty old, not as old as the Slovenian Meteorological Society, but we born in the 2000 with another name, was Unione Meteorologica del Friuli Venezia Giulia, so Friuli Venezia Giulia Meteorological Union. After or during the COVID, many things changed, not only in Italy but in the world, and also the regulation of no-profit organizations. So we took this opportunity to change the rules of the society and many things, and we also changed the name. Because we don't like borders, basically. I don't like borders. We live in a beautiful place between the Adriatic Sea, the Mediterranean, the Alps, and so we call the society Alpine-Adriatic Meteorological Society. In this way, we don't have any more borders, political borders, let's say. So we exist with this new cloth since November 27th, 2020. So the goals of this association are several. So we are weather passionate, weather lovers. So we do a lot of things connected with this. But we try also to do some science, or some research, some monitoring in interesting places. How we do this? Many things, in many ways. But the point that I want to stress is that we would like to promote and develop and establish collaborations with other bodies or public or private organizations, also with the other countries, why not? Especially in a place of Europe like this one, which is transnational with a lot of countries in a very small space. And we know all that weather and climate do not have borders. They move free in the atmosphere. So why the Julian Alps and Sella Nevea? I put both Canin and Kanin because I know that in Slovenian this should be written Canin or something like this. But you know that in Italian we have this C, this letter for C, K, so it's a mess. We change the pronunciation all the time. Instead, in Slovenian, K is K. It's more easy. So why Canin and the Julian Alps? Because we all know that this is one of the wettest places in Europe, in the Alps, if not the wettest, with a lot of precipitation and a lot of snow. We also do have some glacier remnants that we are monitoring as a society. This is in particular the eastern Canin ice patch. It's maybe now a bit larger than Triglav glacier, but not as much, not so much larger. But we were able to do many things, also some science about this minor component of the local cryosphere in the Julian Alps. I also have some nice pictures from the past, 1893, a very wide several glaciers divided in western, eastern Ursic glaciers and then others, and now what remains of all these rapidly melting glaciers. But we also do have a lot of cryosphere underground in caves. Canin is a very karstified area with a lot of cavities, thousands of cavities in a very small geographical area. And we are doing a lot of research also in ice deposits in caves. And a few years ago, we made the first discovery of cryogenic calcite in situ, which means in the ice. And you can see the layer of cryogenic calcite here. So this is the Leupa ice cave where we are working as a society with small projects, but also in collaboration and cooperation with institutional bodies like the Geological Survey of Friuli Venezia Giulia, the Institute of Polar Science, always me, and other, of course, the the park of Julian Prealps. So basically, the cryogenic calcite is very useful because as a speleothem, you can date it and with uranium, thorium isotopes and so on. So you can get a date. You can know when these tiny crystals of calcite basically formed. And in this way, you can also date the ice. In 2012, we installed a weather station in cooperation with the regional park of Julian Prealps, as I was mentioning, and other more institutional bodies like in Subria University in northwestern Italy, and the National Research Council. So thanks to this weather station, we made some comparisons with other stations like Krederitza or Villacher-Alpe and so on. And we were able to reconstruct more or less 150 years of climate, temperature and precipitation in this area. We can see 2022 in this red spot. Then, and we are entering in what is Alpi Giulie Meteo Lab. We installed this weather station in cooperation with the municipality of Chiusaforte, which is the main village down there, the tourist office of Friuli Venezia Giulia, which is managing the cable car and the lifts in the area, and two institutions of the National Research Council. So this is almost live. It was this morning, so different from the winter, of course. So the Stevenson screen is made of wood, large exactly. It's painted white and double grating with the standard WAMO. Inside we have several instruments, both old style, analogical, vintage, and modern one, because we would like to use this spot also for education, for summer schools, for teaching to new students that maybe one day will work in as climatologists, as meteorologists, or doesn't matter. So they have to know how was the past, not only the fancy automatic data loggers and so on that we are using efficiently nowadays. Then we have a heated rain gauge, which are not as common as they should be in the Alps, in the Italian side, at least. We don't know, we have a poor knowledge of winter precipitation in several places in the Alps, especially on higher altitudes. So there are few very scarce observatories on high altitude. Okay, this is not so high, it's only 1,100 meters, but still this was missing. And then we have what we call semi-automatic nivometer, which means that we install this graduated stake, and we have a webcam which is looking at it, and so every morning we can read the thickness of the snow. But Alpi Giulie Meteo Lab involved several different institutions for several purposes. The first one is as I was talking about, micrometeorology and hypogea climatology, and as well underground glaciology. So we have 5 spots in the Italian side of Canin Massif, which are managed by the Society, by the Institute of Polar Science, and by one of the numerous speleological associations that we have in Friuli Venezia Giulia. So thanks to all these spots, we have now more than 10 years of measurements in air and rock, especially in this cave, but also in several other caves. And we also have now 13 years of glacial mass balance in caves. So we are doing measurements of how the ice deposits are changing in the caves. At the beginning, we were doing just with benchmarks, measuring at each visit of the cave. And we observed, this is typical. Okay, sorry. I cannot do it. Yeah, flight mode. And as you can see, starting from 2014, we observed abrupt melting that is basically eroding very fast now the ice deposit. Lately, we are adopting different methods using the structure from motion. So this means simple photos. You make a lot of photos of the cave, then you merge all these photos, you create a shape, and then you compare, you create a point cloud, with a point cloud comparison, you can compare the mass balance in the cave. So we are now working on a much precise way to detect ice changes in these underground environments. And we got in 2021 a biannual project, thanks to the regional geological survey, to develop new methodologies and to establish a long-term monitoring program for ice in caves. Then we have 2 spots for glaciological studies managed both by the Society as Alpi Giulie Meteo Lab and the Institute of Polar Science, with the logistical support of the regional administration and the civil defense. Basically, they help us with helicopters flights to bring the team up in the mountains. So we also we did some science reconstructing the evolution of these small glacial remnants, the Canin East, since 2006. And we observed a kind of resilience in the long term, the medium term. And from 2006 to 2018, we observed, and this was astonishing, an increase in the volume and in the topographic surface of this ice patch. So we published this paper with very attractive title: "Recent increases in winter snow provide resilience to very small glaciers in the Julian Alps, Europe." The paper was published in 2021, and of course, season 2022 and 2023 came, and so the glacier was basically almost destroyed by terrible summers. And so now the surface topography is lower than it was in 2006. So that paper is bullshit. Yeah, I'm joking, but I was a bit disappointed in the last 2 years as Micha, I guess. So then we have several weather stations. We are installing new weather stations together with the park, as I was mentioning, and there are other stations already managed by the civil defense of Friuli Venezia Giulia. And then there is also all the micrometeorology project managed by the Weather Observatory OSNET in Conca-Prevala. Why Conca-Prevala? Because in Conca-Prevala, strong inversions are pretty common in winter, but also in summer, but especially in winter. So we installed in this area, using the cable car facilities, we installed two weather stations, one here, 1864 meters, and one here, 1787 meters. The lower one is in the lowest point of this depression. And we can see very nice data, also with some huge differences, as you well know. In Slovenia also there are many depressions like Merzla Komna or something like this. So it is very nice. So future perspectives. We are sure that the Julian Alps and Canin represent a very nice natural laboratory for many things: meteorology, climatology, paleoclimatology, nivology, ecology, geology, biology, so many things, and of course speleology. And our idea was to put all the facilities that are now operating from different institutions under the same umbrella, maybe implementing them to study weather and climate along an ideal altitudinal transect, which actually can be developed starting from more or less 500 meters of elevation up to 2,500 meters or more or less. And hopefully in the future this might be done on both sides of Canin. So for this reason we are searching corporations because if the north face is working in one way, the south face maybe is working differently. So you can find us on this website, and you can find us also on Twitter or Instagram, YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Many of the language is mainly Italian, but for instance, Twitter is only in English. We write only in English on Twitter. Instagram, we use both languages. So we try to be as much as international as we can. Voilà.